Willie Tree. He's the bassist, and my teacher, Claudio Rubio. He plays the sax, and well, he's my like master. He taught me the jazz music, and yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So I want to take a quick break, but before I do, I was just, going on YouTube and listening to all the songs you had done. And there was one that kind of struck me, and it was just so much fun. And that's American Boy by Estelle. So
Whoa,
I was wondering,
you saw that.
I was wondering if you wouldn't mind
So
singing just a piece of it.
Take me on a trip, I'd like to go someday. Take me to New York, I'd love to see LA. I really want to come kick it with you. You'll be my American boy, American boy. Is that okay?
Yeah, I love it. Thank you so much. That was amazing. Let's take a break, and we'll be back in a moment. Don't go away.
As China's role grows greater on the global stage, you want to stay up to date on the issues most pressing to China both domestically and internationally. Check out the Just China podcast for in-depth analysis on recent headlines and investigative reports on Chinese matters that affect our globalized world. We are Just China. Find us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you enjoy your podcast listening.
And we're back with Bernardisima Fiorentino Rojas, a Chilean jazz singer. Her most recent album is Cómo suspender su incredulidad desapareciendo por completo, or How to Completely Suspend Your Disappearing Disbelief. Speaking of that album, which came out in 2016, you collaborated on it with vibraphonist Diego Urbano. How did you meet Diego, and how did you decide to do an entire album with him?
So I was playing at a friend's band, Pascurt. She's a singer, and she got this band together, like a big band. It's not a big band, but it's a big band. And Diego was part of the band, and we met there playing. And he was like quite a legend for the jazz here, the jazz scene, because he studied at LA at this university in the Thelonious Monk Institute. Do you know it?
I've heard of it, but I'm not super familiar.
Okay, so it's great deal, because they study with Herbie Hancock and Wayne Shorter, and that's big. So I was very impressed with his playing and everything, and we got together in a session, and we discovered we were both interested in improvisation. So we started doing that, and we didn't stop.
And 12 songs came out of it on the album.
Yeah.
I would imagine there's even more songs, that are even unreleased.
Yeah, that's right. We were almost ready to record another album. At least the music, the songs were almost ready. But we broke up because we were boyfriend, girlfriend too, for a moment. And we recently broke up, and that won't happen. So that's sad, but it's okay. And that's the truth.
Yeah. It's always good to let the truth be out there.
Yeah, it's it was very, I don't know, we fell in love, hardly. First was the music, and then the other stuff. And it was very, fertile. Fertile. A lot of it, a lot of things, were created,
Yes.
A lot of music, the performances were crazy, really. I used to scream a lot. I don't know, a lot of new things started with that relationship. And I think it also made a little impact in the scene here, because a lot of jazz musicians and stuff started to be interested in the improvisation and more performance-like things.
And it helped you find new parts of music that you hadn't explored before.
Exactly, yeah. And I don't know, my voice started to be different. I found new sounds, new ways of singing. And I learned a lot about music production because he knew a lot about it. Yeah, it was like a creative explosion.
When you look at that period of time, do you see yourself taking those tools and different lessons and things and bringing them into your next project? Or are those things now part of a period that is gone and then you'll find new things? Or maybe some combination of the two?
Yeah, a combination, because that music was also like a manifest. Like I was
like
tired.
a manifesto.
Yeah, because I was a little tired about the conservative part of the music and jazz. It was like rebelde y espérame.
You're
Like
rebelling.
yeah, I was rebelling and provocative, being provocative.
Yes.
You know, with the music, with my singing, and with my performance, and that like that provocative part. I don't have that anymore. Like that strong, like I had at that time. But the thing about the sound and the process, like creative process, that those things are still in my work.
And when you were working on that album, was there ever a time where you thought to yourself, and for those of you who haven't listened to the album, definitely go check out the album. It's all vibraphone and Bernardisima singing.
Yep.
So just those two elements. Were there any moments when you were in the creative process where you're thinking to yourself, maybe we should add something else, or maybe another person? Or did those thoughts, we're very comfortable with what this is and in this moment?
If we felt like we could have something else, we would like get another effect or a loop or something like that. We wanted to do it just by ourselves, and sometimes we did like collaborations with other artists, but just to have like a video or something.
There's a song on your album that's very explicit, and I'm not even sure that I can mention the title without having it bleeped out, so I guess I'll have to figure that out later. But the song is called Bloody Motherfucking Asshole.
Yeah.
How did you come up with the title for that song?
Okay,
and
it's not my song.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
Sorry for
And-
interrupting.
No. Interrupt away. I was just going to ask, what does the song mean to you? But clearly not much at all. It doesn't mean a lot to you because it's not your song.
Yeah, but I love this song when my teacher Claudio Rubio showed it to me, because I was having problems to write lyrics for another song that I wrote, and he sent me that song to inspire me. And I loved it because it was so strong. It's a song by Martha Wainwright. I think the song is about her father, and because apparently he doesn't know him, and he's like, I don't know, like saying fuck you, basically. And for me, I took it and put my frustration with the things, with this misogyny present in the music scene, you know. So that's from where I took it, my like this same like strength, you know.
Well, there's a couple of questions I want to ask you, but I guess I'll start with, has there been a lot of misogyny that you've noticed in the music scene in Chile? And if so, what forms does that take, and how have you experienced it?
Mainly with this, like, I don't know, subestimar. Like, the people think you can do less than what you're, like, prepared to do. And there's a lot of men, like, not so many women. in the scene. A lot of men and not so many women in the scene. And so you come with, I don't know, your music and some like sheet music, and they want like, okay, what is this? Like, you know, like it's hard for a girl to win their like respect, you know, and that's just because you're a woman, you know. That's not good. And also some men feel like they have the right to teach you or say what you have to do to boss you around.
And is it something that is pervasive across the scene in the music scene in Chile, or is it something that maybe you think it exists less here than in other countries you visited, or maybe more?
I mean, I've heard it's almost the same in a lot of places. It's like a constant thing. I've just been working at the jazz scene here in Santiago. So in Buenos Aires, I think it can be a little different because they are used to have men and women studying like at the conservatories, jazz and other stuff. So I mean, they are machista. ¿Cómo se dice machista?
Macho.
Well, they are similar culture, but they are used to professional musicians. But I don't know. I've heard awful things that happen in America, the USA.
They happen. Horrible things happen in America all the time, including with misogyny and racism and classism and transphobia and Islamophobia and anti-Semitism and all of it.
Yeah, so I don't think it's something that's happening just here. But that didn't stop me to want to like get a musical revenge, you know. And every time I sang that song, I would like be very mad and screaming. Yeah. And it was great.
In some ways, and this will be my last question about the song, I promise.
It's okay.
In some ways it feels like a love song, but like a love that was betrayed.
Yeah. Exactly.
And broken.
Yeah.
What does love mean to you? And maybe,
whoa.
I know that's like a crazy question, but maybe before you were working on the song and after, and how that song maybe changed your perspective of what that means.
Of what?
What like love means,
Love
or like what it
means.
means to have like love be such a harsh thing sometimes. Because you
So-
care, you know, like
Yeah.
otherwise you wouldn't be so upset.
Yeah. So the question is what love
Yeah,
means to me.
Sure.
Passion. Passion. Yeah. In music, maybe. So that's quite a question. I love something when I feel like my whole body is different and I'm excited and I feel passionate about doing or being with this thing. That could be music or a person. Yeah. And it also means to me a great like sorrow if it ends or if I feel like betrayed or something. But it's like ultimately like a very profound feeling. Very, very profound feeling. And it's like the combustible, fuel. It's a fuel. Yeah, to do music and life. Yeah.
I want to take another break, a short
Okay.
break, but I was wondering if you would sing something else for us.
Okay.
I really, really love your version of When You Wish Upon a Star. And I was wondering if you wouldn't mind